You don't always get everything you need from the people who are in your lives. Sometimes God brings people into your life who can fill certain voids that maybe you didn't even realize that you had. Maybe you do know that you had them, but you were unsure whether or not there would ever be a relationship that could fulfill that void. There are often moments, especially when it comes to motherhood, where there are surrogate mothers who come into our lives because our mothers couldn't give us what we needed, or our mothers are no longer here to give us what we need. And God sends along someone who fills in the gap. I have been asked time and time again, probably 2 questions as it relates to my parents. The first one is, what's it like for Bishop T.D. Jakes to be your dad? That's a whole nother story for a whole nother episode. The second question that I'm usually asked is, what is it like to share your parents with the world? And the truth is that does have some challenges, but I don't really share them with the world. They get pieces of them, but we have a much tighter inner circle. And I think a deeper question would be, what's it like to share your parents with the people who are around them? Outside of my siblings and my father, there is one person who I have shared my mother with the most. Interestingly enough, she is probably the most unlikely person that you would consider me sharing my mother with, because this little cherry from Amarillo, Amarillo. This little cherry from Amarillo invaded our lives. Her name is Cammy Garner, and literally for over the last 20 years, she has been an aunt, a sister, a friend, a cousin, any of it, a rider, an enabler. She's taught me a lot of things that we won't get into today, but she's been a gift. And now even her daughter, Brianna, is a sister to me. I'm the godmom to her children, and yet we met, I think, in probably an unusual context and became family. And so we're going to talk today about trusting God to bring into your life what you need, even when you don't know you need it or you feel like you could never get it. So you have to break this down for me, Cammy. Yeah. How did we go from Amarillo, living your life there, into where we are today? Like, what happened? How did you get plugged in?
We'll skip the part of why I came to the church.
Oh, no, let's not skip anything.
I don't think
the
world is ready for that testimony quite yet.
All right.
Came to the church in 97, right after you got here. Immediately was drawn. Had never been to church. Got saved under Bishop and First Lady Ma. This one found me behind trees.
Huh?
Definitely. Like literally, she can tell the story better than I can, but she would be coming up the elevator. They would say, Bishop's coming. And so I would go behind this tree. Nice. It was in the old church.
Okay.
And she always saw me. And she would say, hi, Tammy. And I would be like, my name's Cammy. And she was like, okay, Tammy.
Nice.
So it just kind of, rude.
Why?
Rude, but I love the rude.
Wait, okay, guys. Things are pivoting.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I thought that Cammy was very, very shy. And she was trying to hide from us. But I saw her every single Sunday. And there was this huge artificial tree right when you step off the elevator. And that's where she would duck as soon as we got off the elevator. I mean, just right in those leaves. And I said, hi, Tammy. And she was like, my name is Cammy. I'm like, I know, Tammy.
I don't understand the insistence on Tammy.
Well, I always call people what their name isn't.
Okay.
Because it's a term of endearment.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it is. It's a term of endearment. Nice. And it wasn't that I was, because it was funny to me.
It was.
First of all, and we were in the era of Tammys in the 90s. And so I thought, there's my Tammy.
Tammy Faye Baker? I don't understand.
No.
Definitely.
What is the era of Tammy in the 90s?
Because it was a heavy name.
Okay, nice.
Yeah,
all right.
And so and I've never heard of a Cammy before.
Right. Which is your name? Not like Cammy.
That is my name.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting.
All right, well, back to your story.
Yeah.
And so it was just kind of a draw. it was just kind of a draw to her. And, I was getting the word from Bishop, but I was getting my life watching her. I truly believe that God sent me to the church for her, not only for the word, for salvation, of course, but for her and for the family. There were things, no shade against my mom, because she did the best that she could. But there were things that I did not get from her, which is kind of why I relate to you sharing, because in a different sense, I shared my mom with her job.
Yeah.
I was like a latchkey only kid. So I kind of related a little bit to y'all, not on your level, because I wasn't actually sharing her with people, but I didn't get some of the attention that I needed as a young girl growing up and dealing with a stepfather who was a policeman and not always there. It was interesting. I didn't learn a lot of stuff, but I saw the femininity in her in a good way and learned that from her. Learned how to be a lady, learned how to be more classy, less the rough. Over the years, it's evolved. So I was drawn to her. And then the relationship just formed where she was in transition with her assistants, and I just picked up and helped. That's just what I do. I just help. And it's been that way ever since.
At what point, though, did it go from, like, I'm just picking up the pieces to helping to, like, was there one particular experience or one memory where it was like, this is what it must feel like to have another mother?
It's been several. There was an incident that happened with my child at MegaFest that I refused to tell her till after she spoke, because I had that much respect for the anointing, because she actually spoke. And when I told her, I just finally broke. She knew something was wrong, but she couldn't get it out of me. And it was in that moment when she took off the first lady face, and she was like, Ma, that's where Ma came from. And just said, you'll get through this. We'll get through this together. And it's been several instances of we'll get through this together for both ways. My thing has always been with her, when she comes to me with something, I don't pry. I can tell when she's off. Yeah. It's just we've been together too long. Not off, but when something's going on.
Clarify.
Yeah, when something's going on, and she'll get around to saying what it is. And my thing has always been, it's gonna be okay. We're gonna get through this.
Absolutely.
That's always been our thing. We're gonna get through this. He's never not taken us through it.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So you saw her.
I do.
I think for someone who doesn't have their mom around, or someone who's never been seen correctly by their mother, what does it feel like when you as a woman see another woman, particularly from that lens of motherhood, and you lean into nurturing her? Like, do you know in the moment that you see her that, like, my assignment is to mother and nurture her? Or does it happen organically? Because I think one of the most powerful things you said is that she saw me. And I think that part of what can make the motherhood dynamic so difficult is when you feel like your mom's not here to see you, or my mom just doesn't see me. So what does that feel like when you see someone and then mother them that way?
I think, at the risk of sounding super spiritual, but then biologically, if you're a nurturer, or if you're nursing a baby, whenever that baby cries, your milk starts flowing. And I think in the spirit, I think that I can tap into a cry, a soul cry, that means I need your attention. I need your guidance. I need a moment. and I'm not going to be able to come and get it unless you bring it to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so with her, and it doesn't happen often because I'm full with my children. I am my milk is flowing for my children. But there's every once in a while, a rare once in a while, I encountered her.
Mm-hmm.
Nor have I since encountered the level of nurturing that she pulls out of me. There's so much that as a young woman, as a young mom, she needed, that, and I didn't even know her mother. I didn't know her mother. I didn't know her circumstances, anything about her, but she was crying. Her soul was crying for me. And so I stopped and I let her know that we have a conversation. And it doesn't matter what your name is. Our conversation is deeper than that. And then getting to know her mother. We became Thelma and Louise. When I tell you that Cammy's mother is my counterpart. She is the blonde me. She's going to have on her lips. She's going to have on her nails. She's going to have on her lashes. I mean, she's like this at all times. And so the time that we got to spend together was so abrupt, but there was an urgency that she learned that she could trust me with her daughter, first of all, and kind of see who I really, really was. She came to the house. We got on the golf cart. We were flying around the place. Just came together. Like she was my sister mom. And she thanked me for what I'd done for her daughter and her granddaughter. But it was my assignment. It's yet my assignment until otherwise. It's my assignment. And Cammy is so funny. Like Cammy, when I first met her, like when you walk in the store, they say, "Hello, good afternoon." And I mean, I was like, Cammy, speak to the people,
Killer.
and but then she just started morphing into this other person that nobody else saw her. Nobody else saw her like I see her.
So true.
Nobody else saw her, and y'all see her, but nobody else saw her, and she was in the sea of dark people, but she was comfortable. Because we saw her.
Yeah, that's okay. So I was going to ask, there were two things that stood out. I was going to ask if, knowing what you know now, when you were hiding behind that tree, what was your soul crying out for?
I like that.
My soul at that time when I was hiding behind that tree, it was absolutely calling out for a relationship with Jesus. But I didn't understand how to get it. And it was crying hard. I wouldn't change a thing. Because I think everything that I went through, everything that she's taught me has made me who I am today. And at 53, I finally know who I am. So I wouldn't go back and change the name. But I needed somebody to see what I was really crying for. There was no hidden agendas. There's still not to this day. I needed what she has inside of her, what God's placed inside of her. I needed that nurturing. I needed somebody that understood my past and didn't judge me for it, and to let me know it's okay and that Jesus still loves me. Period. That's what I needed from her.
Now, I mean, to your point, you surrounded by a bunch of Black people.
Oh yes, but that's me.
Huh?
Unapologetically.
How? What?
Okay.
How?
Okay. Go ahead, fit.
Do you ever feel, has it ever made you, like, because you are a white girl from Amarillo, she is a
Absolutely.
black girl
I am
from
white.
Beckley, Alpokey, West Virginia,
Yeah.
and you guys have this incredible connection. Do you ever feel like the difference racially?
At times, yes. At times, yes. I can't be not be honest and say yes. At times, do, but it's never from her or you or the rest of your siblings or your father. It's from the outside. And
Wow.
once you learn to block off the outside and keep the main thing, it doesn't bother me. I don't pretend to be black. I don't pretend to know that what you have gone through. I don't pretend to understand that. I sympathize with it and I hate it. But I think it's a disservice for me to act like I know.
Yeah.
But no, it doesn't really bother me. There haven't been, I'm not uncomfortable. I'm comfortable. I'm safe with y'all.
Facts.
Safe. And I know nothing's going to happen to me.
You already know.
Baby. What? So,
You already
no.
know.
Were
Yeah.
you going to say something? Were you going to add to that?
No, she's my interpreter. Because sometimes I don't understand, particularly now, the climate that we're in. And I have to get it from a perspective from somebody that's on the other pole to know exactly what is it, what is this hatred about, what is this animosity, what is this belittling about. I don't understand it. I hate it. For me, I was born in Mullins, West Virginia, population 40, counting pregnant women.
Wow.
And so basically, there was a black camp, a colored camp, and then there was a white camp. So all of my friends in elementary school were white. And so I didn't see that where people treated you because of the color of your skin. I mean, all of our fathers worked in the coal mines, and they all came out black and dusty. And when we gathered together as a community, when the sirens went off, everybody ran to the coal mines, and all of our fathers came out covered in coal, but they came out. And so when I go back to my childhood roots, I see Cammy.
Yeah.
You know, I see a Cammy. And so and a lot of people may criticize me and call me like derogatory names for choosing her over a sister. But I didn't choose Cammy because of her color. I choose Cammy because she fit in my hand. She was an instrument that I could use to get what I needed to get done without having to choose who's the fairest of them all, because there's nobody like her.
Yeah.
You know, and so everybody else can have all of their riffs and runs, but you know, this is who she is for me. This works for me. This works for me. And if I want sister girl, I call you. You know, if I want sister girl, you know, I don't have a lot of tolerance for that right now in my life. My life is centered around my children, my husband, and my purpose. And anything outside of those categories are minuscule to me. Not saying that they don't matter, but they don't take up a lot of my nurturing space. And so it's good to find somebody that can give to you when you're at your lowest, or when I don't want to talk, she doesn't care. If I don't want her to drive, she doesn't care. But it's not like I can't shoo her away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that's worked for us is I let her be her. She's at the end of the day, she's human. And there's times when she wants to drive. She needs that She craves that serene space,
Normalcy.
the normalcy. Yeah. Let me be my own person. Let me drive. I don't push her to talk. I don't. It's this. I get her.
Now, that type of relationship is obviously cultivated over time.
Absolutely.
And it's one that you all have mastered and seen from season to season. And I think to my mom's point, some of the darkest seasons in our lives, like I can see you there in those moments. And I believe that when God brings someone into your life, that their presence is evidence that you can trust God, because he's going to cover you through them. And I feel like that's what we've been able to do as a unit. Even though we weren't biologically related, we've been able to experience the faithfulness of God, the ability to trust God, take place through the relationship we have with one another. I say that to say, I just happened to be in town when Miss Paula was in the hospital. And we were walking through a challenging season. I am blessed and fortunate that I have not lost a parent. I have been told that no matter how old you are, when you lose a parent, it's like being an orphan.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And no matter how much you know, somebody loves you, somebody's fighting for you, that feeling doesn't go away. Grief doesn't go away. That's a misnomer that grief will, no, it never goes away. It's something that, because that's your parent. She gave birth to me.
Yeah.
She always has a piece of my heart. And I feel like I'm doing her a disservice if I let the grief go away. I had to learn to cope with the grief. But I have to let it out because she was so much a part of me. Our relationship was strained at times, but it had gotten back to mom and daughter before she passed. We were lucky enough, but she had a stroke. We were lucky enough to bring her down here to live with me for 2 months. And I have to say that was probably the best 2 months of my life because I had my mom all to myself. She couldn't talk. She could say cuss words, but I mean, it's fine.
I like it.
That was Miss Paula. That was Miss Paula.
Strong.
But I mean, everything else, she was mobile. But the 2 months that I got to spend with her was time that we had lost. And we got that mother-daughter bond back even stronger before she passed. And when she passed, it devastated me.
Yeah.
You do. You feel like, why? I thought she was getting better. Why did you take her? But when I look back at when she passed and your mom being in the room and right after she passed, y'all walking through the door, that is priceless to me. You can't ever take that away from me.
It was almost the passing. Her passing actually passed her right into our lap. I mean, your dad was there. I mean, everybody was there. Brianna was there, pregnant with Bonnie.
Yeah.
Everybody was there, and it was like, this is family. And this is what family does. And we always talk about Ruth being covered with skirts, but we never talk about the fact that somebody else had to cover her. She had to ask somebody. I mean, it wasn't her skirt.
Yeah.
So we have to cover people, and that's what we don't do. We did not know that Miss Paula was going to pass away. But those last few years that we had with her were so remarkable.
They were.
I mean, your dad would be at the table like, I miss Miss Paula, and they were just a talking.
She loved to talk.
She had a ball. And then that very next Thanksgiving, it wasn't the same. And so it was meant to be.
Yeah.
And I would never want, I lost my mother, and I made the mistake of thinking that if I could find someone that dressed like her or cooked the same macaroni and cheese, that I would still have a piece of her. But I realized that the part of my mother that I have is the part that I give to you all, because that's what I need. I still need it. I miss Virginia every day.
Yeah.
I need it. And I know that if she were here, I would be able to say, gosh, Sarah needs, or Ella needs, or Cora needs, or Jermaine needs. I don't have that. So I feel uncovered.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you guys. Like, it's Mother's Day month, right? Yeah. People are going to be inundated with messages about motherhood, reminders of what they have or don't have. How do you maximize what you have left? How do you trust God with the aching? Like, what do we do for those who Mother's Day, it's hard to celebrate? Not impossible, but challenging.
For me? For you?
Yeah. For me, I'm to the point where the first Mother's Day was a blur. The first Mother's Day was a blur. For me, I celebrate you, of course.
Too.
I celebrate you. I celebrate my child who was a mother, because that's what my mom would do. I'm kind of like her. What would my mom do? And that helps ease the pain of the day. Now, when you go home, the worst mistake you can make is try to be by yourself that day. That's not healthy. But at the end of the day, when you go home and you do go to bed, you're like, it still stings.
It still sucks.
It still sucks. But celebrating others and giving back what you've been given helps a whole lot. It helps ease the pain. And I think I learned that from you, my little gift store. Yes. Yeah.
What do you do?
Hold on to the fact that I'm a daughter. I'm still a daughter. My parents are gone, but I got the best daddy ever. I've got the best mama ever. So I'm still being nurtured, and I'm still being taken care of, and I'm still being told it's going to be okay, and my boo-boos are still being kept, and my heart is still being mended. Somebody still looks over me, watches over me. And every woman is not a mother, but every woman is a daughter. And when my mother and my father forsake me, the Lord picks me up. And that's what I've learned. I've learned that I can't just grovel in what used to be, but be grateful for what was. And build on it and try to be. I get to be a mother twice now. I get to watch you, and then I get to watch you watch yours. And so it's a show.
It's a good show.
It is funny unto
really
me.
My mom comes over, she's watching. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Tell me. Just give me the list. Give me the list. I'll fix it right now.
It's funny unto me to watch you in another form.
Is that what's happening?
That's what
exactly
I'm getting.
Cammy, be on my side.
I can't help it. I have Vonnie. I see it in Brittany.
I'm like, I like what you did there, Ella. I love it, kids.
Okay, cute. All right, hey, before we go,
What's up?
I would like for you all to take a moment and honor one another by completing this sentence to one another.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so thank you for nurturing the blank in me, and elaborate for as much as necessary.
I'm ready.
You go. Are you going to make me cry, though?
Probably.
Okay.
That's just how I do. That's what I do. Listen.
Yes.
Thank you for nurturing the blanks in me. And I've got so many blanks that you have completed for me. Who am I? What is my worth? Do I have kingdom value? Who's for me? Who's against me? The blanks in me keep coming. And you're always there with a pencil and an eraser.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for nurturing the purpose in me.
Priscilla.
She keeps telling me this. Thank you for seeing what's in me when I can't see it for myself. And for pushing me.
Go for it. Go for it.
I can't do it without you.
Yes, you can.
I can do it in a way without you, but without you, I can't. Because you're the one that sees me, period. And you're the covering that I need.
Go for it.
And thank you for your correction. Because without that correction, I can't grow.
Oh,
Oh, we're punks.
she's such a loser.
What?
Thank you.
That's so weird. Why would you say that?
Because.
Because.
That's so crazy.
Thank
get
you
it from her,
for
though.
being the loser in me.
Yeah.
Thank you for nurturing the loser in me.
Thank you for nurturing the loser in
and
me.
helping me to make poor
Thank you.
decisions.
Yes.
As a teenager, this
Okay.
is my moment.
Yeah.
Thank you for all of
Yeah.
the many ratchet
Sorry, I just
hood
missed
rat
the whole
things
sentence.
that you exposed me to.
You're welcome.
I would not be who I am today if it
You're a good woman now, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Well, and we trust God because we got to find a way to just loop this all in there together. Do with that
Thank
what you
for
will.
listening.
Yes. All right. Good night now. Take care.